Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and I'm not alone. I have two other pieces of the Triforce with me here today. We have our lovely shiny Alex and our extra shiny Ellen from Outside Extra. Hi, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Very welcome.
Very excited.
Yes, we're gonna chat away about the Zelda movie. In case anyone's forgotten, that's happening. And yeah, because we haven't really had much information aside from a couple of leaked images and whatnot. But I guess my first question for you guys is, so what are your predictions for what game or games do you think the movie is going to be covering?
I think it's just going to be pretty much straight up Ocarina of Time, but with some elements of Twilight Princess thrown in there as well, because it's gritty and real and surprisingly well received now. But at the time, overall, I swear people did not care for Twilight Princess when it came out. Admittedly, I think a lot of that was the waggle controls, which isn't strictly relevant to the film, as far as we know. You know, you never know. You might have Link coming on with a Wii remote going, ha-ha! That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Just halfway through the movie, it just flips as well. Just flips perspective, mirror mode. We'll just do that.
But I imagine it's going to be pretty much the most straightforward, and I don't think this is inherently a bad thing, but the most straightforward Zelda story we have. You've got Link, you've got Zelda. Link discovers that Link is the hero, and Zelda discovers that Link is the hero, and Ganondorf's like, ha, 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 and floats around a lot. I can't do that on camera. It's embarrassing, but yeah.
I'll do it in post.
It's not the most exciting idea. I think we're probably going to have some sort of little bits of fan service in regards to things like, you know, like maybe Tingle shows up, goes Glulimpa, and then is never heard from again. They'll be bringing in elements. There's probably going to be some elements of things like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Small elements, maybe not things like the Zonai or the Sheikah technology or anything like that, but there's going to be some stuff going on there. But that's just my incredibly milquetoast prediction. What does everyone else think?
I think, that's pretty accurate, in all honesty.
Oh, I'm a little bit different. I have a feeling, just because of like the popularity with the Switch games, I have a feeling that they're gonna... Sorry, I'm being tapped by my cat. Stop it. So I feel like I'm kind of a bit of opposite on that. I feel like because of the popularity of like the Switch games coming out, they might lean more heavily into the likes of Breath of the Wild rather than Tears of the Kingdom. Mostly because, you know, it's mostly well known, most popularized in the modern day, I should probably say. But that's why I was quite surprised when you mentioned Ocarina of Time with a bit of Twilight Princess, especially considering that, you know, it looks like Link's wearing the Hero of Twilight outfit. To my eyes, anyway, in the images we've seen. Yeah,
I mean, admittedly, you could sort of make him look a bit more like Ocarina of Time Link, but it would just be like monotone green. It wouldn't look good. So, I mean, Twilight Princess, arguably, in terms of like not the art style, but it is definitely riding that same sort of wave as opposed to something like Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild or anything like that. I'm
just hoping that they don't end up just deciding to do a... no offense to Mario Galaxy fans, do like a multi-lore, multi-timeline verse sort of thing. But saying that...
I knew it was going to come up. I don't want to talk about the Mario films because I think they're rubbish.
The Bob Hoskins one's the best one, okay?
Oh, that one I haven't seen in years. I'm actually genuinely really keen to see that one again. But the more modern ones where it's, you know, Chris Pratt, wahoo, let's go. You know, let's make it the most generic thing imaginable, and it makes $1 billion, but at the end of the day is, you know, artistically deficit. Mm-hmm. I'm not bitter. I promise you, I'm not bitter.
I think you're allowed to be somewhat, because I think like the first one I saw and I was like, that wasn't bad, but like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, like some other video game adaptations that I've seen. I think it was just I was relieved that it wasn't rubbish. And I'm sort of like, I'm feeling like with the from the images I've seen, I'm like, this might be fine. and that's fine. Because like they're not
I'm
not
so
really...
pleased you said it first, because it's like, this might, like, I went from this is going to be terrible to like, this may be acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm underwhelmed personally. I mean, I'm trying to keep my Madam Optimist title of the channel. Like, I'm trying to keep that title, but I'm feeling a little bit cynical about the movie, if I'm honest. It's because I've been burned so much about, from previous game adaptations in general, which is a bit of a shame. But saying that, I know that we don't want to have like what's happened with the recent Mario movie and having like all like the random cameos. What Easter eggs and cameos would you like to see? Because I know personally, I mentioned before about Beedle. I want Beedle in this, just to help me, get through the movie in one way or another.
I would like at various points throughout the film, Link to have to stop and build a signpost. Just around, like, someone just asking him a question and he's like, yeah, and just going in. I've just got to help this guy with this sign.
I'm not saying I want this, but I've just realised this is almost certainly going to happen. At some point, someone is going to say to someone, probably Link, hey, listen.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it's going to be like,
100%. I'm worried. One thing I'm worried about is how the Great Fairies are going to be.
God.
Because they're like, ooh, the whole time. And I'm like, this is going to be a kid's film, how are they?
I mean, they could do something a bit more sort of inspired by like the Wind Waker Great Fairies. Because they're a bit more, well, they're a lot more... all I can think
Less
of is
suggestive.
All I can think of
say.
is flat. Which I don't feel is inaccurate. I mean, the Great Fairies might not even be in it. We don't know. And if they are, they may just do something like... It's just sort of like a glowing ethereal shape or something like that, which I wouldn't be opposed to because it's sort of a bit like the normal fairies in the game. We never really see them, except in Wind Waker. But, yeah. I don't... they could do so much in terms of like fan service and references and things like that. I would actually really rather that they just, if it's background stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Background stuff, little things where you sort of blink and you'll miss it kind of thing, or it's just a panning shot and you look at the shape of, you go, that's Lon Lon Ranch or something like that. But so often I find, and this is not just exclusive to modern films and things like that. I'm not going, it was better back in the day. Always done this, but it seems to be more obvious, probably with the internet and stuff like that, where they just shove everything in your face. And it's like, look, do you remember? This is a video game. Do you remember the Zelda? Zelda had this character. Don't you like this character? It's Impa.
Are you okay, Alex? Are you okay?
I think he's having a minor breakdown.
It is only minor.
I mean, as long as a Korok with a backpack going across the screen doesn't tip you far too over the edge, I think you're going to be fine, Alex. Like,
I think I would be fine with the Korok. It's just we don't see the Koroks moving with the backpacks, and I think to take that is an artistic step too far.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because like my issue with the latest Super Mario Galaxy film is that it's too much of it was like and I just put it there, and if we see it, we see it, just do that. Less
Mario movies, more Hot Fuzz.
Yes is the thing. Where
imagine if this film was being directed by Edgar
Wright. Yeah.
Oh,
that would be.
I suppose then that if it was Edgar Wright, would it be the would Link speak normally, or would he speak like the guy with the swans? That's the question. I mean, like. I mean, that kind of goes on to my next question.
No luck finding them Triforces then. It's just the one Triforce, actually.
I mean, I suppose like that it is kind of a thing that has been on my mind as well. Like we don't want it to be like the Philips CDI games, because we don't talk about those.
I talk about those.
It's not the first time you've had a Zelda game where Link talks, but now it's a movie.
Excuse me, princess. Sorry. Someone had to do it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Now, if they did a reference to that, if a character says that at some point, even if it's just "excuse me, princess," I'd be well up for that, because that's obscure enough that it doesn't matter. It can go by, and it doesn't have to be drawn attention to or anything like that.
It's an actual sentence that someone can say normally. It's just that he says it really.
I love
weird.
it when films include actual sentences.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of 3 people being on the screen, haha. They've announced, semi-announced 3 members of the cast. I only know one of them. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce her name. Deacon Lackman, who is in Severance, and she's also in the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie, which is directed by the same director. Apart from that, I don't really recognise the actress playing Link and Zelda. Do you think they're going to stick with the kind of more unknown cast, or do you think they're going to do what they did with Tears of the Kingdom and just throw a Matt Mercer in there, have a big old name? I'm hoping that's going to be a little bit smaller, in my opinion.
No disrespect to Matt Mercer. He's a very big name in voiceover and video games, and he does other voiceover work as well, absolutely. But it's not like getting Chris Pratt in. He's not a big Hollywood name.
I'm meaning the Hollywood equivalent of a Matt Mercer. I don't know.
Okay.
You get insert Hollywood actor name here, because I can't think of one because my brain's mush. Playing the role of
Chris
Ganondorf.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah. You may know him from the Mario movies.
I mean, it looks like the cast that they're drawing from at the moment seems to be primarily British, which I can't lie.
And an Australian.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's very true.
Yeah.
I would.
Aren't they filming in? Sorry to interrupt. But aren't they filming in New Zealand? I think, or some
They
New
are,
Zealand
yeah.
Rings locations. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Which I've got to say that is an exciting prospect. So I'm looking forward to the.
It'll look pretty. At
Yes.
least,
Yeah. But I would much rather. I would rather see, sort of names that are maybe a little bit smaller, not so much Hollywood, but something like just plucking a name out of my head, Ralph Ineson as Ganondorf. Why not? Mm-hmm. Have a Northern Ganondorf. I'd be well up for that.
Yeah, what you want is people who regularly do theatre. Because I find they're a lot of the really decent voice actors that we've got in the UK who are kind of being seen and getting their names out there now are people who have done a lot of work treading the boards, and it's a very different thing transferring that across to film. But I think for a film like this, you do need those people who are a little bit more oh wow on the camera,
can carry that kind of gravity that
the gravitas of those performances. I think it's really important for, especially in a fantasy thing like this, where and if people don't really know it and they're oh, it's just a guy that saves a princess, oh okay, and you want to add that extra level of oh, someone here is really working hard, but it doesn't look like it. It looks effortless, but you can tell that they're really encapsulating that character and stuff. So yeah.
Are we basically
Ralph
saying
Ineson's
we
great.
want the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
A load of
Carl
theatrical.
Urban in there you go.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen, and then cap it all off with a wonderful Ian McKellen.
Oh yeah. Love Ian McKellen.
Be fantastic.
Legend.
There's a part of me, and this is just a personal thing, but if I could pick one actor to be in there, I think it would be, I don't know whether you necessarily be familiar with him, Joey Beatty. He played Jaskier in The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
And he is an absolute darling. I met him last year at an event, and he was an absolute sweetheart. And he does a very, very good Jaskier. And I think he could bring an element of, sort of an element of even sort of comedy to a degree, but sort of still grounded and, in the fantasy. I think he'd absolutely nail that. Having said that, he, sort of is he's very restrictive on the performances he does. So I'm not expecting it by any stretch of the imagination.
Also, who would he play? That's the question.
Beetle.
Oh, where am I thinking? Thank you.
Or Tingle. He could take on either of them.
Oh, fantastic. I love that. Oh, I mean, coming from someone who is primarily like performed in theatre, I have to agree with like the whole theatre aspect and how they would go about playing the roles. But I guess my other question is, so we've covered stuff like who the cast could possibly be, but do you have any other predictions of what to expect from the movie, or even like post-credit scenes? Would there potentially be a universe? I don't know. I hope there isn't. Maybe there's a Triforce trilogy, who knows? But I would like to think that if they do that, they need to honor the game series as a whole rather than just have it as fan service.
Yeah, I think you're right. So like, I think vibes wise, what I would love is sort of like to go back to that real 80s family movie of like Never Ending Story and Labyrinth and stuff like that. If they go in with like, oh man, why haven't we got the Jim Henson Company on this? I mean, imagine little Koroks. They could do the Koroks rather than CGI.
The Dark Crystal
is
Dark
Crystal, yeah.
superb. Absolutely superb.
So like,
and they killed the series after one.
I know what you did.
I'm
Netflix,
so annoyed,
man.
so annoyed by that. But they could do wonders with things like you could get like physical like Rito, like masks on people and things like that, and prosthetics.
Oh my god!
Imagine that. God, it would be good. I mean, we don't know, they're not involved.
Maybe that's why they're being quite tight-lipped and everything.
It couldn't be any other reason.
I don't know.
Come on, it's fine. They're just taking ages to cast the sexy fishman Prince Sidon. That's fine.
What does it say? I'd like to think it's just because I've got Ocarina of Time in my head, but you went with Sexy Fishman and I thought King of the Zoras.
Well, I mean,
him just shuffling along. There you go. That's the entire trailer.
Weep. I feel we've been answering a lot of questions. What are your hopes and dreams? What do you want to see from this film?
So I personally want to see more of a Zelda movie that is marketed towards a more mature audience rather than something that's younger. Definitely more a serious tone because dramatic, But I still want to have a little bit of whimsy within the story. I don't want it to be... Because, Sony, they were responsible for doing so many other great adaptations and not so great adaptations, I'll admit. Uncharted, looking at you. I don't want it to be like that. I don't want it to be just a fantastical. I want it to be able to... Because I love a good story. I love the lore of Zelda, and I love a good backstory, I want it to be a good story. That's what I want. A good story, good performances, no cheesy fan service. That's all this girl can ask for,
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, I having that kind of like family friendly, but still like a dark, serious story, like, a never ending story. All the sad things happen, it like do not be afraid to have that in that, and not make it like a children's movie, but make it appropriate for children, I think. And because then it's something I think that kids, we could give kids more credit than like, hey, look at the thing, remember the thing,
Thank you.
And also, I don't want a romance between Zelda and Link. I'm sorry, but I don't. I'm sick of seeing movies where just because there's two potential people who could be together, they are together. It's boring. I'm sorry, but it's boring.
I'm so on board with the same idea. Have it so that it's appropriate for children, but not necessarily targeted at children. Again, we're just basically, I think we just want the Lord of the Rings with Zelda on it somehow. Because the Lord of the Rings also has some whimsy. It has some fun. Pippin, Merry. Sort of. But then it also can be incredibly dramatic and serious, take itself seriously. And I still think it was probably the best idea to not include Tom Bombadil. I'm just putting that out there because I don't know how you'd incorporate him. Maybe stick Tom Bombadil in the Zelda film. Why not? That'd be a curveball. I don't think anyone would be expecting that.
I mean, he's basically the owl, isn't he?
And yeah, he's a bit Kapora Gabora about it.
Yeah. Tom Bombadil.
But yeah, thank you so much, Ellen, for joining us in this chat about the Zelda movie. And Alex, goes without saying, you're all right. Thank you, everyone, for... If you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments below what your predictions and what your hopes and dreams are for the Zelda movie. And while you're at it, why don't you, I don't know, yeah, that subscribe button and check out nintendolife.com for
10
more.
out of 10.
Check out Nintendo Life for more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching and have a good one. Bye.